We got Philadelphia Eagles backup quarterback Gardner Minshew. So I know they lost that game, but he had himself a day, throwing 24 for 40, 355 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns, 2 interceptions as well. But when you got over 350 yards and 2 passing touchdowns, it doesn't really matter for fantasy. Good for 24.7 fantasy points and a 4-point per passing touchdown league. QB5 on the week. Is this fact or flash, Coop, from Gardner Minshew?
It's a fact in the sense that he can replicate this from a rate standpoint. 60% completion percentage, absolutely. Does he have mobility enough to score a rushing touchdown if need be? Sure. 2 touchdowns, not a problem. I see no reason he can't do this. It's just a matter of, does the matchup call for it? This matchup was a shootout, called for him to throw 40 times, have the 300 yards, the picks, the touchdowns. If he's in a game versus the Saints next week, that's a little more low scoring. You can expect a little more of the same. So I think that he can absolutely come out and do something very similar to this. Is he going to have 350 yards and 3 touchdowns every week? No. But can he play at this same level that he just did last week? Absolutely.
I'd be interested in playing Gardner Minshew. I think it is fact if he has the opportunity. A lot of the turnovers were, I think, more related to the fact that he doesn't have a ton of rapport with these guys. It's like a messed up handoff to Miles Sanders, a couple interceptions that weren't necessarily fully his fault. So I'll go fact with an asterisk.
This is fact. Gardner Minshew can do this, and he probably should be a starter somewhere in the NFL. Maybe if the Eagles would have won with Gardner Minshew and they locked up that spot, we would have seen 2 more Gardner Minshew games. But they don't even have the division locked up. The Cowboys can technically still win it.
Now Gardner Minshew, last 3 starts, has managed to throw for 2 touchdowns in all 3 of those games. Did Mr. Gardner Minshew earn himself a shot at starting for another team next year, or at the very least, competing to start for another team?
I think he's good enough to start for another team. I don't know that he's good enough to be a franchise quarterback, the type of player that they build around, but I think he's absolutely startable. I think he's a high-end backup.
Something we've seen is, especially with the Eagles, we know that this team understands the value of a high-caliber backup, right? No one's calling for Jalen Hurts' job anymore. I think he has shut up the haters. You know what I mean? There was a contingency of Jalen Hurts haters. He's not going to make it. He's just a running quarterback. Well, they can sit down after what we've seen this year from Jalen Hurts. And that's a perfect spot for Gardner Minshew to continue being the high caliber backup. And the Eagles are a franchise that know the value. They won a Super Bowl with their high caliber backup. I could see them re-signing him or trying to secure him to a deal there, because this has got to give them confidence that if Jalen Hurts goes down, Minshew can step up and take care of business for them.
The thing is, Minshew probably wants to get paid. It's his decision now, because he can turn down whatever offer they make him to go somewhere and try and actually start, or he can decide that he feels comfortable being a backup and take what should be a fairly cushy job.
We got a triple fact, maybe with some asterisks in there for Gardner Minshew, but I'm excited to see where he ends up next year. If it is on the Eagles, I'm not mad about it, but you're right. I think he's done enough, and with teams needing quarterbacks, dude's a good option in free agency for some of these QB needy teams.